So the concussion clinic is something that we have built here into the orthopedic clinic as a way of bringing in kids who have had injuries related to their sport and where they obtain a concussion and need it to be managed until it's resolved enough for them to return back to their sport safely. In my training, we've spent quite a bit of time treating concussions. We've learned quite a bit about what a concussion is, the changes that happen in your brain chemically for a concussion to occur or after a concussion occurs, as well as the treatment plans and modalities that we have available to help a brain recover enough from a concussion to be able to get back to a sport safely. The most complicated and difficult consequences of not really managing a concussion well are either a post-concussive syndrome, which is where if a concussion is managed poorly, you can have prolonged symptoms for months and months, or even something called a second hit phenomenon, where before one concussion resolves, another concussion comes into play, which can lead to some complicated symptoms, neurologic symptoms, and very rarely, but potentially even fatal symptoms. The cumulative effect of concussion seems to be most evident whenever the initial concussion itself hadn't resolved before a subsequent concussion occurs. The safest way to get back into the sport is to make sure that the first one resolved before something like that second hit phenomenon occurs again. Making sure that you do have those safe parameters in play is one of the most vital parts of making sure that the patient is able to get back safely and as quickly as possible. The best estimation that we have is about 70% of concussions are not even being caught or evaluated and being missed. The risk that we run into with these kids who aren't really managed and held appropriately from their sport is that they still are at risk for that post-concussive syndrome or that second hit phenomenon. And so making sure that we have a good amount of awareness within the community is something that we're really working on as well.